Hey guys, welcome back. This is a tutorial lecture from Rails 7, and in this tutorial lecture we will look at an enhancement added by Rails 7 in validating the comparison between two active record attributes. Okay, so we know that there are some validation methods like presence, uniqueness and numericality before Rails 7, and these are also available in Rails 7 as well. Okay, but Rails 7 has added a new comparison validator to validate the comparison between two active record model attributes. Okay, and in this lecture we will see that how this comparison validator works actually. But before that, let's understand that how we do this before Rails 7 versions. Okay, so here I have a model name workshop. For that form you can see on the browser that it has a name, description, start date, end date, start time, end time, total seats and remaining seats and so on. Okay, and now I want to validate them like both start and end date cannot be blank and the start date cannot be greater than the end date. Okay, so I can easily add the presence to validator for start and end date. Okay, here you can see, so I have already added the presence to validator to the start and end date. Okay, so now when I submit this form, you can see that there are two errors, that start date cannot be blank and end date cannot be blank. Okay, but to compare the start and end date I have to add custom validation. Okay, one more thing that I'm just showing that how we do this before Rails 7 versions. Okay, so we add custom validator like let's say we add a validator validate method here. Let's say validate. Sorry, let's make it compare start and end date. Okay, this is how we do that in Rails 6 up to Rails 6. Okay, and now we need to implement this method. We can add def and just copy this method name, and now we need to implement this method. Okay, so here what we can add that let's write return unless end date dot present. Okay, so this will exit from the method if end date is blank. Okay, now what we need to do that if end date greater than, sorry, less than start date. Okay, or you can do vice versa as well, like if started greater than end date, then what we need to do that we need to add the error message here like this, errors dot add, and here we can add end date and just provide a message here that cannot be before the start date. So here you can see that we added this validation. Okay, now let's save this and submit the form. Okay, so just refresh the page and now try to submit the form. So you will see that start date cannot be blank and end date cannot be blank. Okay, so now let's select a start date. Let's say I selected 25th April, and now select the end date. Let's say select 18th of April. Okay, so now here you can see that start date is greater than end date. Okay, so in that case our custom validator should work. So when we submit the form, you can see that end date cannot be before the start date. It means our custom validation method is working here. Okay, but why do this extra work? If we suppose if we have a custom validator here, so we can get rid of this extra work that we done here for this simple comparison. Okay, so we can use the custom comparison validator provided by Rails 7. Okay, so just comment this out, sorry, just comment this stuff, and here we can add the custom validator provided by Rails validates end date, and here you can provide comparison with greater than start date. Okay, And now save this line and let's try to submit the form now. Okay, refresh the page. Okay, so here you can see some error. Sorry, my bad here. I made this typo mistake. That's why we get this error. So let's correct this typo, because the correct spelling of comparison is this. Now save this line and refresh the page. Okay. So you can see that we refresh the page now, and when you submit the form, you will see that start date cannot be blank, end date cannot be blank. Okay. Now let's try to pick a start date, let's say 25th of April, and now let's try to take an end value of end date. And here you can see when I submit the form, you will see that we can see the comparison validation error here. End date must be greater than 2022 for 25. So here we get the value of start date, so it means end date must be greater than the start date. Okay, so we can see that this comparison validator works here. Okay, which is provided by Rails 7, and now we can get rid of this commented code. Okay, so let's remove this because we don't need that. Okay, and save the file, and let's try to do this again. 25 and make it 18, and now submit the form. Okay, so you will still see the error here. Okay, so we just got rid the custom validator here. Okay, however, depending upon the complexity, custom validators are still useful, but let's give this a try to new comparison validation method added by Rails 7. Okay, so that's all about this lecture. Thanks for watching this, and let's meet into another lecture with another learning topic. Till then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.